how a marriage ended over a cup of coffee. So this would have to be one of the saddest stories I think I've ever heard. I've done work with a family court lawyer where we're preparing properties for market for divorcees. And amongst the things we're doing, I actually asked her this question. I go, hey, Jill, what's the saddest story that you've ever seen? And she goes, well, that's easy. She goes, it was a couple whose marriage collapsed over a cup of coffee. I've gone, coffee? I go, what do you mean? She goes, well, backstory is this. They met at a relatively young age, 20, 21, dated a few years, really wholesome, but their relationship was established on going out together, just them two, and having cups of coffee. They do it 2-3 times a week. And she goes, it was really wholesome. They really fell in love with each other, and it established the foundation of their relationship. Anyway, they got married, started having kids. She goes, beautiful children, both had their careers, both hardworking. She goes, it's really interesting. There's no family violence, there's no drinking, nothing usual things that happen. She goes, but what happened after a few years, the husband wasn't responding to his wife to go out and have coffee. He was like, nah, I'm too busy, got other things to do. But what was making her feel sad was we would catch up with work colleagues and do that. So there was nothing bad going on, but the priorities started to change. And there was this disconnect that was setting in there. So anyway, she'd bring it up to him, hey, let's catch up for coffee. But every time she broached the subject with him, he would react. It was like, why are you always nagging me for? You know, is that all you think about? And over time, it got to the point where she felt that she couldn't ask him anymore. Every now and then, as the lawyer said, he'd throw her a bone and they'd go out for a coffee, but it was too late. The disconnect was already there. She said the problem with him was he had taken something out of the relationship that had bound them together and replaced it with nothing. So he was content and she felt abandoned in that area. And she said, as with anything, if you don't nurture it over time, there was more disconnect. And she said a few years went by where they had literally nothing, no alone time, no coffee time together. And she said eventually the marriage came apart, and they'd had counselling and that. And even when it was brought up, he was defensive. Well, you know, what does she expect? I work hard, do all those things. And she said it was literally one of the saddest stories that I've ever been involved in. Oh, and here's the crazy part. Jill, family court lawyer, actually represented the husband. What a conundrum.